Yeah. It's your boy P 2019. Your boy P back to business. So in my video a couple days ago about the black man that was attacked in Charlottesville, North Carolina, I talked about white supremacist society knows how to make race-based power plays on black people whenever we in a crisis. So what I'm talking about today is an exact example of that. And it's something that we can counter once we spark the thought and get to it. So let's get into it. A couple weeks ago, about around the 12th of December, a story came out about Donald Trump signing an executive order called the Opportunity and Revitalization Order. Basically, he's establishing a council. It's going to be ran by Ben Carson, and I clowned Ben Carson in my State of the Coon address a couple of months ago. He's the motherfucker that said slaves were immigrants, that bitch ass motherfucking coon. And basically, this order exists as an extension to his 2017 tax law. And y'all also remember I did my first Tone Talks animation. It was about this tax law. Go back and watch it. But Trump has now added an extension to this law, which allows people with money to invest a zero capital gains tax for investing in low income, suffering black cities. All right, that's what it's intended to hit. And I'll explain what zero capital gains is later, but it's looking at black cities, and Trump is calling them opportunity zones, right? And from my observation, a place becomes an opportunity zone if racist, white supremacist power seats in America, like presidents, have systematically targeted your city to be fucked up and underserved and undeveloped. I mean, if racist white supremacist power seats in America, like presidents, commanded that dope and guns be introduced predatorily by the U.S. government into the neighborhoods of your city, if racist white supremacist power seats in America, like presidents, threw a war on drugs on your back and introduced it predatorily into the neighborhoods in your city, and sending black men to prison at a rate higher than any group of beings on earth. Every city that was affected by slavery 2.0 for black males only type shit. If that's your city, you know what I'm saying? Represent your shit. If that's your city, yeah. That's what we talking about. So the introduction of this revitalization bullshit is just the way that white power structure says, Negroes, we purposely fucked up your community. We blamed it on you day in and day out on the news for over a century. We just kept blaming black people for us purposely fucking up your community, right? And now to add insult to injury, Negroes, because our white behinds require Negro suffering in order to live good and to parasite off Negro suffering some kind of way, once we go out of our way to create suffering, you know what I'm saying? We want to bring in white investment dollars to move you out your black neighborhoods with gentrification. That's what the fuck is happening. And like motherfucking clockwork, all the MAGA hat wearing coons, man, y'all should see them. They in the media. The few places where the story is actually at in the media, because it's like a media blackout on this shit. You don't see this story too much nowhere. But they motherfucking funky asses, they just laughing it up. They laughing it up. See, Trump, he do like black people. He finna opportunity and revitalize the black community and the HBCUs and the, right? Talking all this fuck shit, right? And Trump at the press conference, man, he was surrounded by all of these Yassa, bossing, shucking and huckabucking Sambo niggas. All of them skinning and grinning, skinning and cheese grit, eating, grinning over this shit, right? And I'm just like, God damn, stupid ass niggas. And coon after coon on YouTube, surprisingly, is lapping this shit up. Even some of the so-called woke niggas on YouTube, they lapping it up, clapping it up about shit. But your boy P, yo, he ain't no dumb motherfucker out here. So many people don't see that this is a trick because they blinded by Donald Trump's taint in their motherfucking mouth. You know what I mean? Or they either want him to be good somewhere deep down. You know what I'm saying? There is no good in this motherfucker. Him or his people. And look at these, and look at the black folk that's bigging this shit up. They coon asses, they not gonna be investing in these places. But the white private investors who wanna fuck up black people further and displace black people, they will be. They're trying to displace black people out of these areas. We desperately got to take this opportunity to invest in our own communities. And I'm explaining why in a bit with this shit. It's a real militaristic, save your black life from being killed by a racist white supremacist as reason. And I'm going to get to that. Basically, with this executive order, it's a white supremacist investor dog whistle to come into underserved communities and gentrify the shit for the low with no tax on the money that's made from the investments, because they're talking about zero capital gains tax. And I guess that could take many shapes, but if you invest, you know that capital gains tax is a tax you pay when you sell a stock or when you sell off an investment that you made a profit on. So this opportunity and revitalization order, this is basically dog whistling white investors to buy up black communities that were targeted for underserving. And Trump wants to get in his people onto the shit, right? Hopefully. So he can get a higher approval rating and possibly another 4 years of support of pulling off some shit like this. You understand? And really, he trying to get racist white supremacist kind of dollars in on these investments. That's who this opportunity dog whistle was really meant to be sent out to, in my estimation. So it's those type that's gonna run to this shit, and we need to too. I say that because in analyzing like just the pushback, I'm trying to see who's against this shit, and there's a few points of pushback I've seen from a few watchdogs. I think there was an article on Associated Press and an article on The Hill that showed a few people saying it sounded like some bullshit. I think it was an Associated Press article talking about Jared Kushner. He's the boyfriend or husband of Trump's daughter, Ivanka Trump. This dude has a real estate portfolio that he's trying to expand into these quote unquote opportunity zones. He's trying to take advantage of this motherfucking shit, right? So, you know Trump people, black folk, we get pushed out of Trump's building. So what do you think? If his son-in-law, his son, is investing in this type of shit, and he's got money coming in from like the United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, motherfucking Japan, all this shit, Saudi Arabia, motherfucking Saudi Arabia, all these other different places, all these different countries that are putting in this money to make America great. It's make America great all day, but until it's come time to use some investor money, then he going to other countries, right? That type of shit. But his objective is to use his hookup with Trump. And I think that, once we hear about shit in the media, anything like an act or order, that shit has already been in place. So I think that he already hipped his son-in-law, Jared Kushner, to some of the hot spots and shit he need to go get on. I think he done already put some investment money down. We get the news late out in the world. That's his son-in-law, so he in his ear all day. So I think that he done already started his investments. Now, another bit of pushback that I'm hearing, the people that are kind of trying to say, well, no, Jared Kushner, he hasn't invested in these places. He says he doesn't want to invest in those kind of places because there's not going to be a big return in these underserved areas or whatever. And plus, it looks like gentrification. They try to play that shit. And so there's some people that are saying, oh, well, he's investing in some of the, Upper East Side, Manhattan areas. Some of the like the area where Amazon has one of their headquarters at in Queens. He's investing in those kind of areas, but I don't know. I don't really believe none of them. I don't believe none of the watchdogs. I just know what I see. And I just know that Trump's whole presidency has been about cronyism in and out of his day in, day out. And just pulling open conflict of interest type shit. And I also know just because somebody come down on white supremacist power figures for doing out in the open conflict of interest ass moves, don't mean that they stop. So just because somebody say, yo, look, your damn son he's gonna be getting benefits from this opportunity zone type shit that you set up. It doesn't mean that they stop. They keep doing whatever reprehensible, illegal bullshit. This is what white supremacist terrorist males are on out in this bitch, right? Y'all can watch my video on dictatorship on how Trump and his people are basically trying to acculturate us into watching them run over all laws and shit in the name of white supremacist dictatorship. So the way it's being scheduled is the Treasury, they're kind of putting their little prediction on the shit, saying that it's going to be an estimated $100 billion of private investment. It's going to seep into these communities by way of this. And black people, I don't care what Jared Kushner do. He has a real estate company called Cadre, Cadre, that's supposed to be, trying to build that portfolio up. He's trying to build that shit up. But I don't care what Jared Kushner or nobody that look like him do. We need to build our shit up. We need to get our black investment groups in on this shit. This is how the shit got to go. I mean, if I can give an example, like think of how the shit gonna look. If, let's say, your black investment group in and around one of these opportunity zones spends like, let's say, 10 million in investing on some of these plots of real estate throughout these underserved areas or whatever, because that's what it is. This is a real estate grab. Let's say a week after you drop 10 million, your group, on some plots of land, a week after, let's say the dollar crash, because we know the dollar is coming close to crashing. Let's say the dollar crash, the very next week after y'all spend that money. How it's going to look on the ground? You got land that you already bought. You already got your people probably sitting in them buildings, handling business in them buildings, being on that land or whatever. You got your guns on that land. You got your electric fences on that land. You got your people protecting that land, right? When some shit go down, like a dollar crashing type shit. You understand? Alternatively, think about it the other way. If somebody white come through, some racist white supremacist motherfucker come through and try to buy up the shit and try to gentrify the shit, they spend 10 million and then the dollar crash. How it look then? Now they funky asses is on the land and they got their people and they holding the gun at your black ass talking about get your black ass off the land, or they might just kill you. They kill black people when crisis shit happens. Go watch my video on white looter shooters to get the scoop on that shit. But think with me on this, you know what I mean? What's happening is private funding is going to try to buy up the hood, in my opinion, and try to move niggas out across several states at once. Just be pessimistic with me for a little bit. I know some of y'all are optimistic. Be pessimistic with me for a little bit. They already got this shit started in California. All right? Now, LA, Inglewood, Long Beach. This is the East Coast version of that shit. You know what I'm saying? We need to head off this shit. We need to head this shit off. Gentrification to me is a way that white supremacy and the white supremacist society mocks the struggle that they purposely planted in our black damn communities to fuck up our daily lives and stifle our empowerment. It's basically like them saying, okay, we fucked it up for you, nigga. We watched you struggle to live. We brought in dope and guns. We had our presidents co-sign all that shit. We created and exasperated your squalor niggers. Now we feel like coming through and raising your rent and sweeping you niggas aside. It's that kind of bullshit, right? And I wish a message like this, like what I'm saying, had got out to Inglewood and LA and Long Beach, them kind of places when they was raising the rent so high that black folk, now they got to move out. There were a few groups, community groups that came together and tried to get signatures to stop their rent hiking and shit. But of course, the mayoral seats, they got a lot of coons and a lot of corporate interests going on in these cities. They just said, well, the signatures you got for putting a rent control issue in place, a rent control thing in place, we'll just say half of those signatures, they were just invalid signatures. And not even tell them why. They're just going to tell you that the signatures are invalid. So they tried in Inglewood. I'll give Inglewood the props on that. Inglewood, they had about 14,000 signatures. But at the last minute, they were trying to get this rent control shit on the ballot, or whatever. At the last minute, the motherfucker was like, oh, well, 7,000 of the signatures are invalid. And they just, So it's that kind of fuck shit going on. But at any rate, moving black people out and all that shit out of these major cities, I say this is all a part of a plan to concentrate black people in the South. And I know y'all might feel me on that. Remember my video, the ethno state that Docility made? I spoke about racist, white supremacist terrorists pushing for a white ethno state in America. About all the different race maps that countless white supremacist males were drawing on Reddit and posting on Reddit. Remember? And they were all putting their ideas in the hat for how the new map of America should look in the form of a white ethno state. And with this type of shit here, this opportunity and revitalization bullshit shit, I think Trump is answering his followers and his base. Because all of the map drawing reflected to what? Black folk being concentrated in the South, like Texas, Alabama, Louisiana, Mississippi, Florida, Tennessee. While all the rest of America is white. Alright? And me, y'all know I study migration. I study flight patterns, both white flight and black flight in America. And one consistency that we see, that black people and white people see about black people, is that everybody know when the rent get too high in Cali, black folk run to the South. In New York, they run to the South. They get too high in the Midwest, they run to the South. That's what this shit is about. That's what this shit is in my ideation. This is what I'm thinking. They starting that shit already. They're starting the white ethno state map redrawing of America already in 2019 with this opportunity and revitalization order bullshit shit. Mark my motherfucking words. The shit is in effect. This is not no damn test. We watching it. For Trump, this is going to please his son-in-law's pockets. Jared Kushner, one way or the other, whether he, runs to the hood and try to buy up the hood, or whether he go to Manhattan or some shit. And it's going to appease him and his wife, Ivanka. That's family type shit going on. And Trump works on family shit. He own that family money shit. And it's going to please the racist, white supremacist, map redrawing enthusiast motherfuckers. The racial holy war type motherfuckers that are rampant on Reddit and all these other motherfucking sites that are within the 3% militia, that's in the Oath Keepers, that's within the Proud Boys, etc. All these motherfuckers. All the motherfuckers that supported him into office or who feel emboldened to harm black people and to fuck up our situation more off him being appointed to his office, right? That's a lot of them. All right? And don't forget the white-skinned person with the option to become a workaday white supremacist. Put them into the picture too, right? But that's the business. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to hit that like button. Don't forget to hit that notification bell, so you know when I'm dropping. Get it, y'all.